little bit about your experience with 2A Street.
Well, they told me that I first played there in April of '77, and I can't remember my first gig, but I remember my first audition with complete clarity. I played Ice Crows on the Water for Jeff Kaiser and got the gig. So I've been thinking back on those days some, but at the time, Two Street Coffee House was kind of for high school kids, and you got paid $15 a night, and you were really lucky to get anyone's attention. There were a number of places around like that. Middle Earth Coffee House in Bensonville.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think Lee remembers us doing a show at Chatter House Coffee Box, they called it.
right.
I don't even remember that place, but I distinctly remember you playing at an outside event, a whole set. And I think it was the first time I heard you. I think it was in Bensonville.
Yeah, but that would have been the all night
The Middle Earth
Middle Earth
Coffee
Coffee
House
House
and the
Festival.
outdoor thing. And I remember
Festival,
you
yeah.
played the Maple Leaf Rag and the
Oh my gosh.
light year.
No, no, the gauntlet's been dropped, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of coffee houses around the Dungeon in
Yeah,
Allen for high school kids. And there's a place called the Pier in Wheaton and
here, right. Juicy
College,
John Pink's in
UC John
in DeKalb.
Colloquy
Yeah,
and Ogden, and boy, they all evaporated like they do. But
yeah,
the two-way street, 50 years, and it turned in that time. It turned into a real listening room and a great gig for people on tour and so
yeah,
on.
yeah. That's right.
Play us.
I thought I would start off tonight with a song that I'm sure I sang that night. It's a song that a lot of people know, and out there, if you want to sing along, you're certainly welcome to. And one of the things that I felt when I came back to Chicago after college and a stint in Iowa was to try and connect with some of the songwriters in Chicago. And this particular song I had first heard in Iowa from a duo named Freeman and Lang, and but they knew the songwriter very, very well, and his name was. Now that's what happens after 50 years. You kind of forget where you're at. Steve Goodman, riding down the city of New Orleans. Illinois Central Monday morning rail. 15 cars and 15 restless riders. 3 conductors and 25 sacks of mail. All out on the southbound Odyssey. The train pulled out of Kankakee. Rolls past the houses, farms, and fields. Passing towns that have no name, freight yard filled with old black men and graveyards of rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are you? Well, don't you know me, I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans, and I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Now we're dealing cards to the old men in the club car. It's a penny point and no one's keeping score. Pass that paper bag that holds that bottle. Well, you can feel the wheels of grumbling beneath the floor. And the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers ride their daddy's magic carpet made of steam. And mothers with their babes asleep, rocking to the gentle beat. The rhythm on the rail is all they hear. Oh, good morning, America, how are ya? Well, don't you know me, I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans, and I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. And when I was playing some of the bars, what you had to do is kind of get people's attention a little bit. And so one of the things that I did back in those days was I would put a few train songs together like this one. nighttime mall, city of New Orleans. Changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home and we'll be there by morning. Through the Mississippi darkness rolling down to the sea. But all the towns and people seem to fade into a bad dream. The steel rail, it ain't heard the news. The conductor sings his song again. You passengers will all refrain. This train has got to disappear, railroad blues. Oh, good night, America, how are you? Well, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. And I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Yes, singing good morning, America, how are you? Well, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. And I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Mr. Steve Goodman. Oh, thank you so much. So,
there we go. We didn't mention No Exit Coffee House also in Rogers Park in Chicago. That lasted through the 90s at least. Yeah. Great place. Brian and Sue Cozen kept it going for years. They're out in Oregon now. Anyway, the reason 2A Street lasted that long is because of Mr. Dave Humphreys, who kept it going as a labor of love for decade after decade in a gathering place. And when I moved I moved out to Portland, Oregon for 5 years. I thought I was moving out there for longer, but circumstances brought me back here. And after I moved out there, I thought I'm going to miss snow. But then I thought, well, I can go back and visit snow, which I did. But I had this image in my face of Dave driving a golf cart at the Fox Valley Festival and this beatific smile on his face. He just loved helping people out, in the festival. So is Dave watching? Hi, brother Dave. Anyway, I was going to do this first song that I auditioned with at the Coffee House, which I wrote when I was 15. So I first played the Coffee House when I was 19. This is the oldest song of mine that I've kept. I started writing when I was 12. I still sing some of those to myself, but I'm willing to play this one in public. Ice Grows on the Water. It's a timely one. There is not another walking God's green earth who can save my soul, who knows what it is worth. A joke is not a reason, and the fire is not the rule. It's anyone's decision. It's not hard to be a fool. There's a special kind of sorrow and a special kind of moan for those that live together but choose to cry alone. Please get off your bar stool, come with me to the car. If you walk to your own heartbeat, you can walk anywhere. There's good in being a baby, and good in being young, and good in being a child, but no good remaining one. Someone told me of a campfire where all the kids got burned, but the things I know that scare me the most are the things I never learned. on the window, how it curves along the frame, and snow blows through the alleys, and people do the same, and the ice grows on the water, and the tear grows in my eye, when winter comes and the madman runs, and things begin to die. And when I wake in the morning, I can't believe the rage that tangles in my shoulders and freezes every page. And I stare from twisted anger through an ice-cold madman's face. Someone died in the dark last night in a God-forsaken place. Someone died in the dark last night in a God-forsaken place. Ice grows on the water. Hi, Lori.
Is Lee unmuted?
Melancholy tune.
Muted. Oh, I gotta unmute. There we are. Sorry about that, Lee.
Muted myself. No problem. That is a beautiful song, Andrew. I think I remember you singing that at that big event. And I remember also we would meet up in certain gatherings, and one of those was the Coffee House Festival, which was an event that was sponsored by college coffee houses to try and create more college coffee houses. They would bring artists in to kind of give a different lay of the land as what you could do to prospective coffee house managers. And so that's where we, I think one of those times we even roomed together in one of those dormitory rooms. And I think I remember singing this song for you. We were sitting across from each other, and I had just kind of come across from it. Now, early in my career, I wanted to do a lot of different types of folk songs. And this one I had learned from Pete Seeger, and I thought it was really cool. And it's a song called The Greenland Whale Fisheries. And I'm going to play a little bit the way I did back in those days, but then I've rediscovered it and I'm singing it in a little bit different now. So I'll do a little bit of both here for you. In 1849, on March the 17th day, we hoisted our colors to our topmast tie for Greenland bore away, brave boys, for Greenland bore away. So that's how I actually included it on my first album like that. But now I rediscovered that song and I sang it in a much more traditional way just this last September when I was doing a show out in Dixon. And it's called, it was a show called Across the Street Show or Sidewalk Stage, where everybody was across the other side of the street. And I started singing this in a much more traditional way, and it kind of took on a whole different feel. And it goes like this. In 1849, on March the 17th day, we hoisted our colors to our topmast tie, for Greenland bore away, brave boys, for Greenland bore away. Now, Greenland is a dreadful place. It's a land that's never green, where there's ice and snow, and the whale fishes blow, and the daylight seldom seen, brave boys, the daylight seldom seen. Our captain stood on the quarterdeck, a fine little man was he. Cries overhaul, let your davit tackles fall, and launch those boats for the sea, brave boys. Launch those boats for the sea. The boats were launched with the men aboard, and the whaler rising into view. And truly resolved was each whaler man bold, to steer where the whalefish blew, brave boys, to steer where the whalefish blew. Now we struck that whale and the line played out, but she made such a flounder with her tail. that our boats capsized and we lost 5 of our crew. And we never caught that whale, brave boys. We never caught that whale. Now to lose the boat, our captain cried, oh, it grieves my heart full sore. But the losing of that one 10,000 barrel whale, it grieves me 10 times more, brave boys. It grieves me 10 times more. Now Greenland is a dreadful place. It's the light that's never green, where there's ice and snow and the whale fishes blow, and the daylight seldom seen, brave boys. The daylight seldom seen. Kind of like a finger in the ear singing, you know, that type of thing.
That's it's a much. It's some serious hard work. I first heard that song. My friends were my parents were friends with the playwright Peter Schaffer, and he introduced them to a Welsh actor named Victor Spinetti, who's known for being in the Beatles movies Help and Hard Day's Night, the guy with the ski jump nose. And he sent us a couple albums in 1963 for Christmas. One was Beatles for Sale, which we enjoyed. And the other was A.L. Lloyd and Ewan McCall singing Whalen ballads, which I listened to a whole lot more than the Beatles, which probably tells you which way my life was going to go. That song is called Sperm Whale Fishery on there, very much like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And this one, which I have not practiced because I didn't know what we were doing, but I did an album of folk songs finally. When was that? 2012. I thought it would take me a summer. Man, no song was what I thought it was. I did a lot of research. I put Casey Jones on there. I started looking him up. I thought he was a myth, Casey Jones, you know. And there's a picture of him on the internet. There's a picture of him in the cab of his train. Maybe I should be doing that one instead of this one. In fact, I'm going to switch. No, I'll do it. I'm interrupting myself. Man, this guitar. So anyway, this is called We'll Rant and We'll Roar. Fun song. I was assaulted by a fellow on YouTube from Newfoundland who said, no, this is a Newfoundland song. It's public domain and we claim it for Newfoundland. I was like, that's how I learned it as a kid. He just kept attacking me until I had to block him. I was a son of a bitch. Anyway, here we go. I've been a sea cook and I've been a clipperman. I can dance, I can sing, I can walk the jib boom, I can handle a harpoon, cut a fine figure whenever I get in a boat standing room. We'll rant and we'll roar like true-born young whalermen. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck or below until we see bottom inside the two sinkers. Straight up the channel into Waska we'll go. I was in Talcahuano last year in a whaler. I bought some gold I brought some gold brooches for the girls of the bay. I bought me a pipe there, they called it a meerschaum. It melted like butter on a hot summer day. We rant and we roar like true-born young whalermen. We'll rant and we roar on deck or below until we see bottom inside the two sinkers. Straight up the channel into Waska we'll go. I went to a dance last night in Old Tumbes. There was plenty of girls there, fine as you'd wish. There was one pretty maiden out chewing tobacco, just like a young kitten out chewing fresh fish. We'll rant and we roar like true-born young whalermen. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck or below until we see bottom inside the two sinkers. Straight up the channel into Wasca we'll go. Here's a health to the girls of old Talcahuano, a health to the losses of far-off Maui. Glad you be merry, don't be melancholy. I can't marry us all, or in choky I'd be. That's jail. We'll rant and we'll roar like true-born young whalermen. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck or below until we see bottom inside the two sinkers. Straight up the channel into Wasca we'll go. Colorful song there.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned, I wanted to do all different types of songs in my early career. Including the blues. It was down at old Joe's barroom on the corner by the square. The drinks were served as usual, and the usual crowd was there. On my left stood old Joe McKennedy. His eyes were bloodshot red, and he turned to the crowd around him, and these were the words that he said. Been down to the St. James Infirmary, saw my baby down there, stretched out on a long white table. She was so sweet and so cold and so fair. Let her go, God bless her, for wherever she may roam, she can search this whole wide world over, never find a man sweet as me on her own. When I die, please bury me in my white top Stetson hat. Put a $20 gold piece on my watch fob, stick it in my vest pocket, just to show all the boys, hey, this man died standing pat. I'll take 6 gamblers as my pallbearers, 6 men to sing me a song, put a jazz band on that hearse wagon to raise some hell as we roll along. So now you've heard my story. Bartender, give me another shot of that booze. And if someone should stop you, you just tell them I've got the St. James Infirmary blues. 'Cause I've been down to that St. James Infirmary. Saw my baby down there, stretched out on a long white table. She was so sweet and so cold and so fair. Thank you.
Joel first asked me about my memories of the two-way street, and for some reason, what I remembered is a question somebody asked me when I was in my 20s and I played there. And a man asked me after the show, he said, is it easy for you to write songs? I said, it is, but everything else is hard. And that's kind of what my life was like then. And so this song occurred to me. It's called Slippery Fish. I'm a slippery fish, headed for the sea. I might look pretty, but you can't catch me. I don't want to fry high on that beach. I swim for something that I never reach. I swim for something that I never reach. My heart goes out to Eden Rock, weaving in and out of shock, waking through the water, sniffing in the foam. In my element, far from home. In my element, far from home. Swimming through the darkness, I can't rest. Searching for the key to the treasure chest. Joy of my life, quest and service, tell my wife. Up on the surface, I'll be back by 5:30. Home for supper, dead or alive. Home for supper, dead or alive. Now don't tell me that you think I'm sweet, because we share something to eat. Greedy, moody, call my bluff. Nothing but the gold is good enough. Nothing but the gold is good enough. Don't you know me, dressed so fine? Do you like me pickled in brine? Riddled with age marks, stubborn and mean. High on depth and sight unseen. High on depth and sight unseen. Swimming through the darkness, I can't rest. Searching for the key to the treasure chest. Joy of my life, quest and service, tell my wife. Up on the surface, I'll be back by 5:30. Home for supper, dead or alive. Home for supper, dead or alive. I'm a slippery fish.
Oh, thank you for playing that one.
Yeah.
Is Lee still muted? He got it now.
There I am.
Thank you, Lee. Sorry about that.
No problem. Hey, Andrew, tell me about your guitar.
Oh, this is well, I mean, my main guitar that I've been playing on.
No, the one that you're playing.
Okay, this is a Yamaha, which I bought from Melissa Dagenhart for $100, and it used to be Dean Milano's guitar. And I've always liked these cheap Yamahas. They're like the best cheap guitars. And I played it busking at the markets, and I love this guitar. So this is just a tune and open tuning for for tonight.
Yeah,
So,
it's a really nice sound. It was really a nice sound.
yeah, it's got a voice.
See, we've got a bunch of, a couple performers here, I guess, and a few other people, I'm sure, in the audience that have what we call GAS, which is guitar acquisition syndrome. And yeah, right. And this is a beautiful Larrivee 12-string. My first 12-string was a Martin 12-string, 1235, and it was a beautiful guitar. Really sounded great and played fine, but it would not play in tune up the neck. And so, but in an open tuning, it played great. And I'm so indebted to that guitar because it gave me my 12-string technique. Because I haven't played a 12-string in standard tuning for on stage forever, you know, and
Hey, Lee.
yes.
Bruce Zorn's watching from Arizona, and he says, you're never going to retire your Martin.
Cool. Well, this is a song I learned thanks to Jewel Alvin, who kind of the heart and soul of the Fox Valley Folklore Society, or certainly its principal actor. I went over to his place and he put on this album by this great Canadian songwriter, Stan Rogers. I just fell in love with this beautiful, beautiful ballad about a vessel called the Genie Sea, and it's so cool. What's so nice about this performance tonight is it popped into my mind when, Andrew, you started singing your song. Come on, your lives, draw near to me, that I be not forsaken. This day was lost, the Genie Sea, and my living has been taken. I'll go to sea no more. We set out this day in the bright sunrise, the same as any other, my son and I, and old John Price, in the boat named for my mother. I'll go to sea no more. Now it's well, you know, what the fishing has been. It's been scarce and hard and cruel, but this day, by God, we sure caught cod. And we sang and we laughed like fools. I'll go to sea no more. I'll never know what it was we struck, but strike we did like thunder. John Price gave a cry and pitched overside. Now it's forever he's gone under. I'll go to sea no more. Now a leak we sprung, let there be no delay. If the Genie Sea was saving, John Price is drowned, he slipped away. I'll patch the hole while you're bailing. I'll go to sea no more. But no leak I found from bow to hold. No rock it was that got her, for what I found made my heart stop cold. Every scene poured water. I'll go to sea no more. My God, I cried when she went down. That boat was like no other. My father built her when I was 9, and he named it for my mother. I'll go to sea no more. Oh, sure, I could have another maid in the boat shop down in Dover, but I would not love the keel they laid, night like the one the waves rolled over. I'll go to sea no more. So come all you lads, draw near to me, that I be not forsaken. This day was lost, the genie sea, and my whole life has been taken. I'll go to sea no more. Stan Rogers wrote that.
In the interview with Joel about learning new things about things that have been under your nose all your life, whether it's a word or a song, something that's always been familiar, and suddenly you learn something new about it. This is I was invited to the Feast of the Seven Fishes at Aunt Nancy's house in Downers Grove, and Aunt Nancy loved the song. Do I need to unmute myself?
You're
You
good.
hearing me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep.
Whatever.
I can hear you.
Okay. So I thought, oh, her favorite Christmas carol was "O Holy Night." So looked it up, and the version everyone knows was done. It was a translation from the French by a Unitarian minister in like 1850, but it's really a Walt Disney version of what was in the original, which is pretty strong stuff. And so I did this translation from the French, and so this is the Cantique de Noël. Adolphe Adam wrote the music, and Philippe Capot wrote the lyric for the dedication of a church organ in a small town in France in 1820. I find this surprisingly timely here. Midnight, good Christians, it is the solemn hour when Jesus Christ descended to earth to wash away the stain of sin's abiding power, to end his Father's wrath by his birth. The world entire thrills with anticipation upon this night that to us brings a Savior. People on your knees, await your liberation. Noel, Noel, behold the Redeemer. Noel, Noel, behold the Redeemer. May our faith by fervent light divining conduct us to the infant's cradle side. As in days gone by, one star yet brightly shining, the kings of Orient to him did guide. The King of Kings was born in a humble manger. Ye rulers of today, conceited in your grandeur, it is to your pride that God proclaims the danger. Bow down your head before the Redeemer. Bow down your head before the Redeemer. The Redeemer breaks every bond and tether. The earth is free and open is the sky. Where there was a slave, he sees but a brother, and love binds those that in iron chains did lie. Now who will tell him of our appreciation? It's for us all he is born the cross to suffer. People arise and sing your liberation. Noel, Noel, we sing the Redeemer. Noel, Noel, we sing the Redeemer.
Thank you, Andrew.
We're going back in time, and one of the things that I can recall back in those days was not just the coffee houses, but back in those days, there was a lot of local bars that had music and that type of thing. And when I was in the college market, sometimes I got a chance to travel over and go back to near where I went to school in Iowa. And there was this place called the Sanctuary in Iowa City. And I would be there for, Friday and Saturday night, and it was like 4 hours. So what I would end up doing is I do 1.5 hour sets, kind of like tonight, but I do 2 of them with a half-hour break. And it was really, it was one of the few shows back in those days where I would sit down because it was a high stage. And I'm of course sitting tonight because we're just kind of together and swapping songs and that type of thing. And lo and behold, one of these nights, there was a fellow sitting right down the front row and he wouldn't shut up. And it's not that he wasn't paying attention to me, he was paying rapt attention to me, but he was singing all the songs that I was singing along with me. His name was John Blaine. And I got to know him pretty well. He was an old English teacher and old folky himself. And he did a lot of the traditional singing of the songs. He mimicked a lot of people. He could mimic the way Ewan McCall sang and everything. And he was a source for a number of songs. And I thought I'd throw this one out. It's also very timely for what's going on now too. A friend of mine bought a radio for $1 down and $1 a week. Says he, it's the easiest trap I know. $1 down and $1 a week. So he bought a rug, a fountain pen, a runabout car out here, and then a collection of the lives of some famous men. For $1 down and $1 a week. $1 down and $1 a week. $1 down and $1 a week. It's the easiest trap I know, says he. $1 down and $1 a week. Now I bought a suit, a hat and shoes, for $1 down and $1 a week. He joined the lodge, paid his dues. It was $1 down and $1 a week. Daddy bought a ring that was fair to see for the lovely bride-to-be. When he got married, the minister's fee was $1 down and $1 a week. $1 down and $1 a week. $1 down and $1 a week. It's the easiest trap I know, says he. $1 down and $1 a week. When the baby came, the doctor got $1 down and $1 a week. My friend he clothed and he fed that tot with $1 down and $1 a week. At last said his wife, I must be free. These weekly payments are ruining me. She got a divorce. The alimony was $1 down and $1 a week. $1 down and $1 a week. $1 down and $1 a week. It's the easiest trap I know, says he. $1 down and $1 a week. Arkin the Arkansas Woodchopper sang that on WLS Barn Dance many, many years ago. So.
I heard Jim Craig sing that song.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I think so. These are tough times, and it's going to be a tough winter. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine news. I thought I'd do this one just because it's well, those of us that are able to stay home in these times. One thing I did when the pandemic hit was to relearn the Tai Chi form, which I learned in my 20s from a great woman named Elizabeth Wenscott. And, I'd forgotten it, but I had a book with and I slowed down enough to relearn the whole form. And there are certain gifts of these times. And so this is just called Meditation Song. It's about taking it easy. Way up in the clouds, there's no resistance. Viewing the ground from a frightful distance. Removed from the struggle, feel your existence. Fade from the clutch of the close and curious. From your own reason for feeling so furious. Up where the rolling wheel is one with the word. Above the roaring crowd, hear the song of the bird. I'll show you something I learned from a pentagon. A 5-finger trick and the 10-hour marathon. A 50-yard dash and the 100-mile stretch beyond. Take it all easy and sweet and slow. When you get where you're going, there'll be someplace else to go. Up where the rolling wheel is one with the word. Above the roaring crowd, hear the song of the bird. Here it is, baby, come find your balance. Stay with the secret you stole from the palace of plumbless darkness and blinding brilliance. Far far past your own gossip and all who'd in turn welcome each circler and daily dissenter. Up where the rolling wheel is one with the world, above the roaring crowd hear the song of the bird. Above the roaring crowd hear the song of the bird.
Very nice. Well, I've had a request for an instrumental. And this also comes from about that same time, the early 80s, late 70s. Called Where the Pinery Narrows. We'll see if the fingers remember. something like that.
Andrew, wow! I just want to say thank you for playing that song. Or Lee, sorry, I was trying to spotlight Andrew too at the same time. Sorry,
We look the same.
yeah, right.
What
No,
are you talking about?
but seriously, there was quite a few requests on the chats and things about that. So thank you for playing that song. And I'm not going to get in the way too much here, but I'm just thinking like so many of these folks that are watching are either people that have participated in some of your workshops at some of the Fox Valley or some of the festivals, maybe Woodstock Festival or different things that you've done around town, and hearing you kind of trade songs reminds me so much of that sort of event, and it makes me almost feel like I'm out there on the river, and watching you guys do one of your workshops or something.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for playing that song, and I'll let you guys continue. I'm sorry, I'm out.
I've just received word that people are requesting a song of mine called God Told Me I Could Come. However, the request I got was God Told Me Not to Come, which is not the song. It's nice because usually people ask for something like Folk Singers Are Boring or some song you just tossed off in your sleep. This is a good one. So thank you, people. God Told Me I Could Come, this is called. My son was 2 years old, and a woman named Roberta Cullen was a fan of mine, was nice enough to just babysit him once or twice a week for a couple hours so I could have some writing time. Well, if someone gives you a gift like that, better make good use of it. So I wrote this. I walk into the room, it's decked out like a tomb. Strange priests were sitting round, strange people on the ground. God told me I could come, told me I could come. There's nothing I can do that I need to prove to you. You got to move some, you got to move some. I find my way at last, I echo in the past, shy and drift away, come back again to stay. God told me I could come, told me I could come. There's nothing I can do that I need to prove to you. You got to move some, you got to move some. It's a very special party with Tom and Dick and Marty, where the special people meet with their coke and little feet. And God told me I could come, told me I could come. There's nothing I can do that I need to prove to you. You got to move some, you got to move some. Here we come in twos and threes, on our feet and our knees, saying thanks and pretty please. Past the snipers in the trees with our reading and our math, looking for the flowered path. God told me I could come, told me I could come. There's nothing I can do that I need to prove to you. You got to move some, you got to move some. We come popping happily, we come singing harmony, but we lose it in the teeth of the lying thief, and we lose it in the hope of the hangman's rope, and we lose it in the eye, the one who says goodbye. We come popping happily, we come singing harmony, and we find it in the way we rise up again today, and we find it in the calm that will not obey the bomb, and we find it in the love that death can't shove from the face of one you know. While the rivers overflow and the seagulls burn and the oceans churn. God told me I could come, told me I could come. There's nothing I can do that I need to prove to you. You got to move some, you got to move some. And when the time has come to choose, there will be no king of the Jews, there'll be no prince of men, only me and us and them. When the season frays and the seas part ways, best to loose your hold on fool's gold, best to rise from your knees and to stand up with the trees. God told me I could come, is nothing I can do that I need to prove to you. You got to move some, you got to move some. There is nothing I can do that I need to prove to you. You got to move some. We're asking for that.
Yeah. What's interesting, when we were talking the other night about Two-Way Street and the wonderful experience that one can have, not only just performing, but also being in the audience too.
Yeah.
And I can recall a number of years ago, probably over 12, 13 years ago, I was in the audience to hear this artist from Canada. And it was a fellow named Nathan Rogers, son of Stan Rogers. And it was, he was about 28 years old. He's a little shorter than his father was. He couldn't grow a beard just like his father. He was also kind of balding. And, but I mean, he was his own person, that type of thing, you know, he was 28 years old. And the audience was very interested in hearing him. I had never heard him before, you know, not even sure. I had probably heard about him, but, and when he started singing, the first song he sang was Three Fishers.
Oh.
And there was not a dry eye in that place because he sounded just like his dad. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. And then shortly thereafter, he broke the spell by starting to sing Tibetan mouth music. So it was like, I don't think his dad ever did that. But he wrote a series of songs about historical events. And this was for, I think, a high school project that he did. And this song that's set in Lake Huron back in the mid 17th century, I think. And this is a song called Mary's Child. And this was the first of what would be 3 songs. He did write a second one. I haven't heard the third one, and one of the reasons why I decided to do this is because it took place during a time when there was much pestilence in the country, and especially for the Native American population. So this is Mary's Child. Came to till the land, to save the child, convert the man. But all that we could do was watch them die. It seemed every soul we saved was destined to an early grave, and the brothers barely stopped to question why. When we boarded a ship from France, it seemed like we had the chance to do God's work out in the cold and wild. But every death and version was just another sad version. I wonder what became of Mary's child. In the village of Sainte Marie, I saw her, she was 23. I thought that we could help to ease her pain. My mother and father have died, my husband's death was worse, she cried. My unborn child and I remain. When we boarded a ship from France, it seemed like we had the chance to do God's work out in the cold and wild. But every deathbed conversion was just another sad perversion. I wonder what became of Mary's child. She gave her new son life, but the childbirth she did not survive. We buried her beneath her Christian name. The boy was taken back to Shire, forever he would live apart. I know nothing of the man that he became. When we boarded a ship from France, it seemed like we had the chance to do God's work out in the cold and wild. But every deathbed conversion was just another sad perversion. I wonder what became of Mary's child. When we boarded a ship from France, it seemed like we had the chance to do God's work out in the cold and wild. But every deathbed conversion was just another sad perversion. I wonder what became of Mary's child. Oh, I wonder what became of Mary's child. Nathan Rogers.
Mama was a wizard. Her house shouted down by snow. She bore me walking naked through a blizzard and hitchhiked home on a buffalo. Daddy was a gunman. He shot the armadillo in the neck. Took my brother and sister with him into the valley of the shadow of a car wreck. Have no shame. Teardrops wash away in rain. Keep your silence like the snow falling on a buffalo. Granddad carved a hill in wood in the shadow of a mountain. Stayed out longer than he should with a quill to sketch the morning. Grandma made a casserole of rice and corn and bits of bacon. Shook our sheets out in the morning that blew the way her heart was taken. Have no shame. Teardrops wash away in rain. Keep your silence like the snow falling on a buffalo. Down upon my path, I surrendered. I never saw the grass grow tall enough to hide my worn suspenders. I go naked in the morning, I come a-crying out for you. From the sunlit side of Lookout Mountain, nipping through the shadows too. I walk like mother on my path. I seek my sister from the clay. Come to call my father, brother. Show my son the same old way. Oh, grandfather, hear me howling from a hill you carved in tree. Here's your purpose long forgotten, where your name is a memory. Here's my shadow on that mountain, full of grandma's recipe, rice and corn and bits of bacon. Hungry hearts, come sup with me, have no shame. Teardrops wash away in rain, keep your silence like the snow falling on a buffalo, have no shame. Teardrops wash away in rain, keep your silence like the snow falling on a buffalo, have no shame. I never get to the end of that song. Buffalo.
How fantastic. Thank you both so much. It has been such an honor to have you here at our final week of our 50th virtual celebration. And you know, I don't have the benefit personally of having grown up in the two-way street like Joel, or having the experience and the storied careers that you two have, and have been performing so long. But it has been such an honor for me personally to look back at 50 years of two-way street and learn all about a little bit more in depth and a little bit more about the people and the community that make it so strong. And so for me, I just have to personally thank you both for such the contribution that you've made throughout the years to Two-Way Street. And I'm just so grateful and so honored that you have agreed to participate in our celebration. And it was such a fantastic concert. And so thank you so much for
You're welcome.
performing tonight.
So
Sure.
I remember one of the early years at Fox Valley where my dad, I think he must have played. It must have been in the 80s. And,
Yeah.
you know, I got put on the island and told not to leave. And just hanging out with all my, you know, folk friends, you know, you just did that. It was a community. It was that way.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing you, Lee, at that time, and getting one of your early records. And then I later realized playing with you in a band and going on tour with you and
Yeah.
doing an official showcase at Folk Alliance in 2016 with you.
Right.
And
Wow.
I'm grateful for those experiences too, because you helped bring me up from, you know, one of those kids just kind of chomping at the ankles to taking it seriously. And both of you have really presented yourselves in a way that is a community thing. You know, it's like the Two-Way Street is. You guys have any more to add to the story? I'm sorry, I'm babbling too much.
Well, no, the thing about that is that, you know, we stand on the shoulders of people before us. You know, when we were young, when I was young, at least I should say, yeah, I could sing and everything. I couldn't really play the guitar or anything when I was just like 4 or 5 years old, but I could sing, and I loved folk songs. And what was important was that the people, like when I was in scouts and stuff like that, where we did a lot of singing when we were hiking and that type of thing. And I just kind of felt like it was an extension of folk music is an extension of our human experience. I know that's really profound, but that's part of the role that we all play, you know. And so Joel, you are doing the same thing. There are youngsters that are coming up and they're going to be, you know, thanking you yourself. And so it's all part of the overall picture. What do you think, Andrew? Get me out of this.
I've lived in a time in history when you can do this kind of music for a living. I think it's an unusual thing in history. To just, you know, be able to scrape by doing this kind of music. You know,
Yeah.
I love doing it. I love my work. I also want.
Well, I thought I'd do.
There's
Go ahead.
An audience at Two-Way Street as well. That irrepressible heckler, Jim O'Dowd. You know, he's always there. And Russ Bernhardt, who wouldn't buy albums, he just loved live music. And this man lived like way south side, and he would travel hither and yon just to be at shows to experience the music. It was a wonderful thing. So,
There's nothing like live music. There's no question about that, and
Yeah.
thank you all for allowing, keeping
How
us.
about one more from
Yeah,
each of
how
you?
about one more from each of you? And thank you for the live music. Hearing live music and music is just amazing. So we appreciate it.
All right, so
I refrained from singing any of my own songs tonight, but I'll finish with this one, written a long time ago. Morning has come o'er the fresh, crisp horizon. The lakes are as blue as the sky. Autumn has come, the colors are blazing. The birds are all tending to fly. Upwards I strike to reach my destination, taking the strides as they come. The scent from the pines, the frost in the meadow, awaken and beckon the sun, and take me back to the times of smoke-curled campfires where people all gathered to sing. Give me those days when good times were sired with the friendships that they always bring. Alone in a valley, I stood near a river, picked up a stone, then let it fly. Breathing deeply the winds of October, I bid the hot summer goodbye. When we try to remember the days long forgotten, the time seems to pass faster still. Like the ripples that pass from the stone to the river, our lives are but ripples until they take me back to the times of smoke-curled campfires where people all gathered to sing. Give me those days when good times were sired with the friendships that they always bring. Where will I be when the winter comes o'er me? When the wind whips the snow o'er the fields? Will I be deep inside some pine for shelter, searching for last of a shield? When we stop to consider our lives and our travels, we tend to depart from our friends. Oh, I wish I could hear for one more time only the songs from them before the end, and take me back to the times of smoke-curled campfires where people all gathered to sing. Give me those days when good times were sired with the friendships that they always bring. Morning has come o'er the fresh, crisp horizon. The lakes are as blue as the sky. Autumn has come, the colors are blazing. The birds are all tending to fly. Autumn has come, the colors are blazing. The birds are all tending to fly.
And I'm going to bring up Andrew. Oh, clap.
Thank you.
How about one more, Andrew?
Oh, must I?
You know what it is? That's why we went for a half hour longer, so I could get through the
Closing
technology.
song is by Scotland's bard Robert Burns. He said, "I took it down from an old man singing. He would never admit to having written it, which is because there was a famous version that had already been written by his generational predecessor, Alan Ramsey, with whom he didn't want to outshine Alan, but we're pretty sure he wrote the verses about the brae, which is a hillside. We twa run about the brae, and paddled I the burn, which doesn't mean paddled in the stream. A burn is a brook, stream. Paddled actually means waded. So anyway, I'm going to sing this in the Scots. And this is from a version he sent to his second publisher. And I believe this is the old tune, not the one it was published with in the Scots Musical Museum, but I don't have time to go into it. So there's a familiar tune everyone knows, which is an old Scots tune, but that was never the tune of Auld Lang Syne. And then the one people say is the original was printed in the Scots Musical Museum. And I think it was a dummy tune made by the musical director because they'd already printed the original tune with Alan Ramsey's lyric. So that's enough scholarship. Here's the song. Thank you all so much. Lee, it's been a joy. Really, it's been great. And thank you, Joel and Jennifer and Dave Humphreys and all the volunteers at the Two-Way Street. Keep it going. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days o' lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet. For old lang syne, we twa run about the breeze and put the gowans fine. Excuse me. We've wandered many a weary foot sin auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet. For auld lang syne, we twa paddled to the burn frae morning sun till dine, but seas between us pretty roared sin auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet. For auld lang syne, and there's a hand, my trusty friend, and gies a hand o' thine, and we'll take a right good willie walked for auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet. For auld lang syne, and surely you'll buy your pint stoup, and surely I'll buy mine, And we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne, for old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne, for old lang syne.
Woo! Oops. I'm going to get him out. And then I'm going to spotlight. All right, you guys. Wow. Thank you for such a great show.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And thanks to the fans.
Thank you so much for having us, giving me a reason to practice, you know.
Well, you'd shared that pile of papers that you had.
It's right here. I've actually stacked it up.
So if anybody isn't getting a call back from Andrew, this is why.
This is the size of the family Bible now. Songs of Robert Burns.
So we can look forward to that maybe next year or something. Is that right, Andrew?
Yes. Let me say yes.
Oh, he said it. You said yes out loud
First
on the interweb, so everybody heard.
I thought the actual answer should be I.
Yeah.
And
great.
If fans want to get in touch with you and hear about what's going on, they can go to your website and sign up for your newsletter. You send out a really nice newsletter every 2 to 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, LeeMurdock.com. Yeah, that's and we also have a presence on Facebook, but I don't know anything about it, so you have to ask Joanne about that.
Probably wise to leave that to Joanne.
Yeah, well, you know.
If you want terrible puns, you can friend me on Facebook.
Yeah,
I love your puns. For real. For real. I do. Like, I share them.
Puns is like when they're really good, they're good. And when they're really terrible, they're also funny.
They're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And I also claim them.
They are.
Also.
Yeah, and you can find Andrew's books on his website. And don't you have a digital download on there as well?
Yeah, books, CDs, digital downloads, andrewcalhoun.com. And I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to begin putting up all of the Burns songs in short order.
So we'll see you in another 3 years then?
No, he said.
Well,
Next year.
When they let us out here. I'm caring for my old man who's 93 and a half. So.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm COVID phobic. So
and
stay home.
As you should be. Absolutely.
The other day he said, well, I'm 93 and a half. It's a start.
It's a pretty good start, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for
You're
participating in our wonderful 50th anniversary celebration. We are so grateful, and we know that everybody tuning in tonight really enjoyed both of you. You're fantastic. So thank you so much.
We'll start the next 50.
Right, here we go.
On.
50 more.
And thank you to all the audience and fans and patrons. And a special thank you to Tim Kendall.
Oh my gosh.
We cannot forget Tim Kendall. He is the virtual backstage technician.
The best. And he knows everything.
He's having to deal with me also trying to get in there and messing stuff up.
Welcome to my world, Tim.
That's what being a volunteer with me in the same team. That's another story. There's Tim. He's going off in the sunset. So thank you everybody for the concert, and we'll see you next time. Next week we have Jan Christ and Jim Beiser. Don't miss it.
And the sing around tomorrow.
And make your donation, and we'll have the rebroadcast throughout the weekend. So
absolutely,
if you want to donate again and vote twice, vote often, it just
.2waystreet.org.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.